Hi, beautiful souls. In today's episode, I want to talk to you about what's one thing that you can do today for your body, mind, and soul. I see so many women going through life feeling undernourished, feeling exhausted, feeling overwhelmed, feeling depleted, and putting themselves last. When if you can have a daily practice of being aware and actually taking an action towards nourishing yourself physically, mentally, and spiritually every single day, your whole life will start to transform. You will start to feel so much more empowered, so much more healthy, have so much more vitality, energy, strength, confidence, because you made a decision to choose you daily. And I want to help it form part of your habits. I want to help you understand why. I want to give you some tips and advice on how you can do it. And I want you to become the best, most fulfilled version of you, angels. Let's dive in. Hi, angels. In today's episode, I want to talk to you about being aware of doing one thing every single day for your body, mind, and soul. I know that sounds a lot. I know for some of you might be thinking, how am I going to fit all that in? I promise you, it is not as big as what it seems. And I want to talk to you today about why it's important having the awareness around how you're carrying yourself through life, how you're taking care of yourself. I want to help you so understand, like, after the awareness, where maybe you might be feeling malnourished, where you might be feeling like physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, that you're lacking, that you're not taking care of yourself, but also give you the inspiration to how you can change that, how you can shift that moving forward, to show you that it doesn't actually need to take that long. It's something that you can effortlessly put into your day if you're aware of it, and also show you how you can do it, give you some tips, some advice, some inspiration, some little bits of just things, rituals, practices, habits that you can adopt throughout your daily life that are going to lead to you feeling so much better physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And that is going to help give you more to, one, fill your cup up, one, fulfill your needs, but two, you're going to give more from that state of overflow. You're going to have so much more to give to your loved ones. You're going to have so much more to give to your work, to your family, to your friends, to your creativity, but also you are going to have so much more space for creativity. You are going to have so much more peace that is going to come into your heart. You are going to find that you are going to align with yourself on a whole other level. You're going to find you're going to manifest more of what you want because you're coming from more of a better feeling state. You are coming from a place where you feel that you're in a good place, that your needs are being met. Everyone and everything around you benefits. And I can speak from experience. I am someone who has been taking care of myself for a very, very long time. In my 20s, I started yoga in my early 20s before I had my kids. I had Riley when I was 25. And so from a very young age, I started the practice of yoga when there was no cool studios around, I literally went to a classroom at my local high school and a man came and we would go and just, take our own mat and just very, very simple but incredible practice was where my yoga journey began. There was no studios around, not to the amount of studios that we have today. The gyms weren't as they pop up everywhere now. There weren't as many. I'm showing my age now at 47. And so in my 20s, I went through a journey of physical nourishment, of really being mindful of what I eat. Like Riley she was born with dislocated hips. I was 25, C-section. She was breech. Her legs were up in front of her face. She had congenital hypothyroidism. I went through a lot at 25 with her birth, and it really prompted me to look at diet, look at nutrition, look at how I can provide the best for my child and also for myself. So I went on this kind of real deep dive journey into physical fitness, health, wellness. There was no access to a lot of healthy shops around. It was just literally the supermarkets. And I would drive with my mum and Riley in the car capsule nearly every week down to Mrs. Flannery's it was down the Gold Coast at Manoa. And we would stock up on a lot of things that weren't in the mainstream shops. I was eating a lot of organic food. I was getting ridicule from people going, is it organic, before I would eat something. And so I went on this real deep dive journey that's like Riley's 21 now, so 21 years ago, of physical wellness and fitness and being really conscious of what I put into my body. In my 30s, we were in Network 21, which was like Amway. I fell in love with personal development. It opened my eyes to fall in love, because you have to read books in school, right? Which you don't really care about. But it gave me this feeling of falling in love with the personal development, falling in love with wanting to improve my mindset, being aware of who I hang around, being aware of what I absorb. Like, I just loved learning about myself, loved learning about life, loved learning about the mind. It was back then was when I kind of first stumbled across. So I was early 30s, I think around 33 was when I stumbled across, because it was a book that we had to read called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So I fell in love with personal development. I fell in love with mindset. We didn't have podcasts. We didn't have all of the easy access. It was literally buying CDs and putting CDs, or buying, Tony Robbins sets, or all these different kind of CDs, and just listening to them in the car when we were driving around was how I kind of fell in love with personal development and reading. I just fell in love with reading the mindset books, because I just saw how it started to impact our marriage. I saw how it started to impact our the way I showed up. It impacted my drive. I become more, I guess, had this desire to be successful, or to just be a little bit different. I didn't want to just go and throw my brain at the TV every single night. Like, it just gave me this drive to learn about myself. It gave me this drive to help people. It gave me the confidence to speak. For a start, I got asked totally out of my comfort zone to get up and speak on stage a few times, and that developed this need, or this I guess, I loved sharing with people. And so that really opened up the door for the mindset work. Along that journey, I still remember at the Hyperdome walking along, looking at all the personal development books in the local bookstore, and I found this book called it was Money and the Law of Attraction by Abraham Hicks. I just grabbed it because it was all around money, right? Thinking it was a book around like money and getting ahead financially. Then when I actually read it, it was one of the most powerful, like Think and Grow Rich, one of the most powerful spiritual development books that I fell in love with. Then pivoting, still mindset, it's still always there and always will be there, but I took a little bit of a turn into more of the spiritual. Enter my 40s, I started to fall in love with wanting to learn more about energetics, around manifesting, around my soul, around service, around giving, around who am I? I'm more than this body. I'm more than being a mom. I'm more than Lisa, or I'm more than a wife. I'm more than what I do for work. And it took me on this deep dive journey to soul discovery, to the spirituality. I started going to Reiki healers, energy healers, psychic mediums, journaling. I had journaled actually with a lot of the mindset work. That got me into journaling, and that got me into visioning and writing out my dreams. And then the spiritual entered a lot of, I guess, the different rituals, like being so present in life and seeing. It was like I awakened. It was like I went through life with my blinkers on, and I awakened a little bit more. And then when I hit the spiritual, it's like this whole other world opened up to me, and I just found more beauty in life. I fell more in love with myself. I found, not always perfect, have ups and downs, self-judgment, all the things, lack of confidence, all the things we go through. But overall, I started to see myself through the eyes of love, through the eyes of a soul, and through the eyes of looking at other people through the eyes of a soul and the eyes of love as well. I started to see synchronicities. I started to open up to signs. I started to see how, hang on a second, like what I think I'm becoming this new version of myself that I only dreamed of 10 years ago. So I saw the power in the soul work, the inner work, the identity work, the energetic work. And so I've been on this journey. My point is, this is not new to me, okay? What I'm teaching you guys on the podcast, in my courses, in my coaching, in the studio, in my retreats, is something I've been journeying on for since my early 20s, right? 20s, 30s, 40s, now 47. So when I kind of look back at those different segments where I've had probably focused a bit on my physical body for a period, then I added the layer of the mindset work for a period, then I added, or probably went a little bit deeper into the layer of the spiritual, that is when ultimately, I guess you would say, I really found myself. I really started to honor the woman that I am. I really started to take notice of my gifts. I really started to see, of all these years of compilation, of compounding effect of the physical, mindset, and spiritual work that I've done, as my kids got older, I saw the ripple effect that it had on my children as they were getting older, going into adulthood, the things they would say, the things they would attract, the kinds of people that they were growing into. I look back and I go, I am so proud of myself for having the courage, because it was a bit different, right? A little bit different. So I'm proud of myself for having the courage and taking the time, investing the time and effort into bettering myself physically, mentally, and spiritually, because I could see how all those years of doing that work on myself, when it was easier to watch TV, it was easier to just kind of switch off and go through life in survival mode and not wanting to better yourself. I had this deep desire for growth, and I could see how it affected me in my business, in my career, in what I'm doing, in my marriage, but more importantly, in my children and the people that I started to come into contact with. So I wanted to kind of give you that little bit of a background, I guess, before we dive into today's episode, to say, this work benefits more than you. It is going to affect those around you. So when you give to yourself, it is not selfish, girls. When you give to yourself, when you open yourself up to that permission to grow and to take care of yourself, it is going to ripple out into all of those areas in your life and to all of those people that you love and care about. And I'm a testament to that. And I see it in the women that I work with. I hear it from their testimonials. I hear it from their results. I hear it from feedback on what they're starting to notice in their life as well. So what I'm sharing with you is something that is really powerful, but it is so easy to dismiss. It is so easy to not put any time and effort into it. It is so easy to ignore what I'm sharing with you. I'll go, I'll get to that later. I'll do it another time. I'm too busy in my life right now. But your days compound into your weeks compound into your months compound into your years form your life. And I remember a long time ago, back in my 30s, when I started the journey of personal development, I remember reading a quote in a book by John Maxwell, and he said, your daily, oh, how did he put it? It's on the tip of my tongue, is that the secret to success is found in your daily routine, right? So I started to become aware. If I sit where I am now and I look back over the last 20 odd years, where I'm sitting now, I'm not perfect. I still got a lot of work to do. There's still things I haven't achieved, but I've grown so much from the woman that I was 20 years ago. But I can see it's from the compilation, that compounding effect of the tiny little decisions that I made day in and day out, that's compounded over time for me to lead to where I am now. And the same thing is going to happen for you. So some of you could be new to my space. Some of you could just be new to the studio or just stumbled across the podcast through somebody said it was good and you should have a listen to it. I hear women tell me that all the time. Some of you might have been following me for a long time and maybe open to this and maybe not doing it consistently and need a little bit of inspiration, but you might have seen the effects of what I'm going to share with you today and how it's helped you in your life. Some of you might just be really starting out on that journey of spiritual awakening, that journey of self-discovery, that journey of self-care, that journey of self-love. It doesn't matter where you're at today. The fact is that you are here, you're listening, you're open, and that you are learning. And it's the decision that you make in this moment, and it's the decision that you make moving forward every day when you get up. Every day that you make a decision, I'm going to show up for me today. Because the reality is, girls, I've worked with women for a long time through personal training, through group fitness, through the studio, through retreats, through coaching, through courses and challenges that I've run. I've worked with women intimately for a very long time, and well over a decade. And I've seen a lot of people in my time that they're just not awake to this at all. They're not aware of what they're doing. They are reacting to life. They are in survival mode. They are in that mode of being busy. They're in the mode of being overwhelmed. They're in the mode of get up, get kids ready to school, get to work, come home, run kids around, do your chores that you have to do dinner, fall in a heap exhausted at the end of the day, only to go and do it all again, kind of in this bit of a hamster wheel of, because you're just busy. We've all got so many pressures in our life today that we just find that we're just busy. We're overwhelmed, whether you have kids or not. Chances are you have got a lot on your plate and you are just making decisions based on, you're reacting, right? You're reacting to what gets thrown your way. And what I want to help inspire you, like my purpose, my drive is to help inspire you to really come home to yourself, to really fall in love with yourself, to really have the most amazing energy, to get the most out of your lifetime. And so many women I see are just stuck in this spiral or stuck in this reactive thrival mode in life and are feeling exhausted, feeling burnt out, feeling run down, feeling like they can't keep up, feeling like they're not getting what they want, feeling undernourished, undervalued, unfulfilled, and just can't see a way out. Then there's women that I've worked with that maybe they've started exercising or they have been exercising and they're, which is incredible, and they're going to the gym or they're walking or they're doing a form of exercise that they love, or they're coming to the studio, they're working on their body. I see women that stop start on this kind of yo-yo all the time. They might do it in seasons, do it in cycles, and then life gets hard and they quit on themselves. And then I've seen some women that have just adopted this fitness mentality, like, this is who I am, this is a part of my identity, this is what I do, I just take care of my body. Then I see some women, a smaller percentage of women, that might add the mindset to it. Like they might listen to some podcasts, they might read some personal development books or some spiritual books. They might, dive into the odd course, or they might do something that is going to improve their mindset. It could be through trainings or coachings, or through leadership at work. Like there's some way that they're aware of the development of the mind, and they're aware of that. They just want to better themselves mentally. They're starting to become aware of how they look at life. They're starting to become aware of their perspective. They're starting to become aware of their minds gets a little bit busy or a little bit overwhelmed. Then there's a smaller amount of women that are opening up spiritually, that are, maybe diving into a little bit of meditation, seeing the power of gratitude, opening up to some of the rituals like journaling, or, energy healers, or yoga, or breath work, or doing things that are going to, like they're reading oracle cards, or they're just opening up spiritually. They're diving into their spiritual health a little bit more, their spiritual internal being a little bit more, and discovering a little bit more about themselves. Some people might go on the other way, where they're kind of diving into all the spiritual, the mindset, and neglecting their body. Either or. It's not often I see women that are actually doing all three consistently. They might go through waves where they're doing, like, I guess, having that little bit of curiosity and diving into a little bit of mindset work. Then life gets busy and they stop. Or, I might do a little bit of some spiritual stuff, do some journaling, and then I go back into routine and forget. What I want to inspire you to do today, moving forward, is I want you to start to think about, what is one thing I can do for my body, my mind, and my soul every single day. And I know when I say that, it might feel really overwhelming. It might feel like, oh my God, I don't have time to do all that. And how this come about is I've got a coaching group of girls, our Earthy Angels Inner Circle, that I'm working with the girls. And the topic is, at the moment, we're talking about nourishment, about physical nourishment, mental nourishment, emotional nourishment, spiritual nourishment. And when I kind of brought this up with the girls, and I started sharing with them, okay, I want you to focus on what's one thing you can do for your body, mind, and soul today. A couple of the girls told me, or I saw we've got our community chat, that said, I love this. And they're actually really enjoying the process. Some of the girls have found that they have maybe been doing this in the past because they've been in my realm for a little bit, and then they've fallen off the bandwagon a bit, because maybe like one of the girls, like she said that I've noticed that I've neglected my journaling, and I notice now it's a big mistake because I've just been so busy with work. There's some big demands going on at work. And she said, I can see that my mental state has suffered as a result of neglecting my journaling, because she started this practice with me and started feeling really, really good. So I'm seeing with the girls, I've had another couple of girls said, I just did something really lovely last night where I come home and my son and I were talking about the full moon, and we decided to lay out under the stars together and look at the full moon together. And she said it was just so beautiful. And it was just a simple little thing. So I'm seeing the girls start to see the effect of it, starting to see how they're feeling in their energy, starting to see how they're feeling in themselves, starting to see how they're feeling in their mood, in the way they carry themselves, how their weeks are unfolding, how they're reacting to life, because life's always going to throw us challenges or situations or things that we have to deal with. But when you're filling your cup up first and you're nourishing yourself, you are better equipped to deal with what is happening around you, because we all have stuff. We all have commitments. We all have responsibilities. We all have things that we have to do, and situations present themselves to us. When you're feeling like you're nourished, you're fulfilled, you're more peaceful in your heart and soul, you feel you're better equipped to handle what is thrown your way. And so what I'm talking about with the girls is we're starting to have this awareness around, how can I do something for my body, mind, and soul today? And I started thinking about it, and I went, because I've done this with girls with just short challenges before, and I've seen how much they loved it. And I've also noticed these girls have stopped it once the challenge stopped. Hence why I wanted to dive into like a 12-month container with a group of women who just really want to overhaul their life, and they really want to commit to themselves, and they really want these practices to become part of who they are. And what we're finding throughout this program, and what I found with working with women along the journey through PT, through group fitness, through the studio, is it is very easy to neglect yourself. It is very easy to push yourself last. And it takes, and I can speak from personal experience here, it takes a lot of intrinsic motivation where you're not relying on somebody else, you're actually doing it for yourself, to want to nourish yourself, to want to show up for yourself, to want to take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And I can see, as I shared earlier in the video, like I can see how when I have done this, my whole life has transformed. And this is what I want for you. But it comes back to, like I said, the secret to success is found in your daily routine. So let's talk body, mind, and soul, things that you can do daily, because I don't want you to think that it has to be, okay, I have to sit in a half an hour meditation, I have to go for an hour class, and I've got to read an hour of a book. Like that's just going to cut into so much of my day. You might have days like that. You might have periods where you immerse yourself and you really take care of yourself. It could be like on a weekend, or it could be you could go on a retreat, or it could be that you just hit burnout and you're sick and then you have no choice but to actually take care of yourself. I don't want it to get to that stage for you. I want it to be something that you can implement into your day-to-day life, that becomes part of your rituals. And I was sharing with the girls in our group today, I said one little thing I've already done. It was already early morning. I said I've been for my walk, right? So physical, I walked. I took my dog for a walk. Mental, I made a decision. I don't use AirPods on my walk. I don't put anything, I don't get distracted. But thoughts come in, right? Like we're human, thoughts come in. And I was on my walk today and I thought to myself, I am going to be so present. I'm going to be really present on my walk today. When the thoughts come in, I'm going to be aware of my mind, and I'm going to bring my presence, bring my awareness back to what I notice on my walk. So it was quite a mindful walk, and I was just being aware of my mental state. I was being aware if, as the observer, like observing what was happening, I would catch myself, because sometimes you just drift, right? You just drift, and then all of a sudden you go, hang on a sec, like I'm stressing over this, or I'm worried about what's happening, or I'm thinking about what I got to do for the day, or I'm worried about my husband or my kids, or something's going on. And I caught myself, I went, no, this is my time. I'm going to be so present on my walk. So it was a deliberate practice to catch myself. And then when I caught myself, I would go, okay, what can I see around me? And I'd be very mindful of looking, the man that rode past, the older man that rode past riding his bike, thinking how peaceful he looked. I'd look at the birds. I saw a few eagles on my walk. I'd look at the butterflies, or just catch myself being really making myself be lost in the beauty all around. And when I say making myself, I did enjoy it, but you have to catch yourself. So you have to have that awareness. And then from a soul level, I found myself, Kira stopped for a wee and was sniffing. And I just noticed the sun on my skin, and I just stood there. I felt my palms open up, and I just felt the sun stream into my third eye. I felt the sun's rays like pour down my body. And I just stood there for a moment and just soaked it all in and went, my God, this feels good. Like I feel at peace. I feel calm. I feel revitalized from the sun's rays. I feel so good. And all of that was something for my body, something for my mind, something for my soul. And it was packaged up, I guess you would say, in my walk that I was already doing. There are other examples, like yesterday I went and I was at the studio and I was moving my body. I really dove into the class with the girls and really made sure I was doing a lot of the workout myself. So I moved my body. I had a few classes, so I felt really great physically. I went to the Little Ego Cafe and had a meeting, and I grabbed a green smoothie. So I felt really nice, nourishing my body with my green smoothie, drank water all day, which that's what I always drink anyway. And then like for my mind, I listened to a podcast. I had to go to another meeting, and I was listening to a podcast as I was driving around. And then I went and met Riley, and we had a petty. And I hadn't seen her because she'd just come back from Bali. And so I went and had a petty with her, and I felt like my soul was filled up. And I also had moments in class when I would wrap up class and we would jump into Shavasana, and I would sit there with the girls. When I prompt the girls to go, what are you grateful for? Or I prompt them with some kind of inspiration. I do that too. So in that moment, I'm filling up my soul. I'm filling that kind of ticking the spiritual box. The day before, every day is different for me. Like the day before, I spent a bit more time, right? So I spent a little bit more time, half an hour, out in meditation practice, 15 minutes kind of reading some oracle cards and journaling, and had my raw cacao. So that was maybe a little bit of a longer spiritual practice for me. Yesterday was maybe a little bit shorter, where it was just snippets of gratitude in class. My soul was nourished catching up with my daughter. But then one day, I kind of sat there with a good hour immersion of being mindful, being present, seeing the eagles flying around, noticing the dragonflies in my spiritual practices, doing meditation. So there are days, my point is, there are days that you can capture it in a short 10 or 15 minute block. There are other days you feel like you want to immerse yourself in it. There is no right or wrong, girls. The point is, I want you to start thinking. When you wake up, I want you to choose you daily. I want you to start thinking, what is one thing I can do today for my body, mind, and soul? So body can be anything from obvious things are exercise, go to a yoga class, go to the gym, go for a walk, absolute kind of physical things that you can do for your body. There's also self-care things you can do for your body, like beautiful baths or salt scrubs or going for a massage, or things that you can do to nourish your body. There's internal nourishment with food, the way that you eat, the drinks that you have, loading your body up with plenty of water, with plenty of hydration, being mindful of cutting out, saying no to the toxic foods, the sugars, the alcohol, things like that. So there's a lot of ways that you can nourish your body physically. There are some things that also cross over into both categories. For example, like when I go for a swim out in my in the water out the front, that is like a physical, a mind, and a soul practice. Like when I'm out there soaking, I'm soaking in the salt water, I'm floating out in the water. The salt water is an energetic cleanser. So from a soul level, it's cleansing my energy. From a soul level, it's filling my cup up being out in nature. From a physical level, it's putting me in a calm state. It's putting me in connection with nature, and it's making me feel nourished physically. Mentally, I try and be so present, and my mind feels calm. My mind feels at peace. My mind feels at ease. So there's some things that you can do, like one activity, which is going to tick a few boxes, right? There are also, let's go back to your mindset. So there's lots of things you can do from a mindset perspective, from learning, from studying, from learning, diving into courses or growth with things that you are inspired by. Creativity is great for your mind. There's things that you can do for your body. And mind, sorry, I just thought of one for your body. Dancing, like dancing, moving, all of those things is another, like, joyous things for your body as well, as getting out in nature. For your mind, and a lot of these are going to cross over, girls, into a few different categories. But you've got your podcasts, your audios, reading personal development books, saying no and switching off from social media or TV or technology, or the things that you are that are draining you, that are actually quite, I guess, energetic drainers, or things that are distracting you. It's also saying yes to things like, yes, I'm going to dive into a book. Yes, I'm going to listen to a podcast. But it's also saying no to some things that don't fill you up mentally as well. So being very mindful of your mental diet. It could be blocking things on social media, like restricting what you have access to, people around you that drain your energy. And again, this can come into the mental and the spiritual. It could be people that you're associating with that you feel are overloading your mind, and they're overloading you energetically, draining you. So your association online, your association physically. Mindset can also be like your journaling, your creative practices. When you get out of your mind and you put things in paper, or you're doing your talents, or you're doing things creatively, creativity also spills into the spiritual, right? But when you're doing things creatively, and you're doing things that fill your cup up, it actually is so good for your mind, for your soul, and it puts you in a better feeling state. When you're sitting in meditation, meditation is amazing for your mind. Gratitude is amazing for your mind. Again, both of those are good for your mind and your soul, because when you're calming down your busy mind, you're trying to let go of some of the thoughts and bring your body back into awareness. So you're being aware of your mental overload. You're being aware of releasing stress. You're being aware of what's coming up for you. So meditation is so beneficial physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Okay, so that does tick a lot of boxes as well. Gratitude, going into the spiritual, right? Like, there's so many things that you can do for yourself spiritually, whether it's time with loved ones. It could just be a time to yourself, fills up your body, mind, and your soul, right? It could be going out and doing something like I spoke about with my client who watched the full moon and the stars with her son. Me going out with my daughter, or spending time with your loved ones. It fills up your soul. It fills up your heart. It makes your heart feel so happy. It could be spiritual practices like your meditation, like your gratitude practice, like yoga. Again, yoga's body, mind, and soul. It can be choosing to dive into like a spiritual development book, because reading those kind of things helps shift your perspective. Journaling helps open you up spiritually. Oracle cards. There are so many things that you can do, and I've missed so many that you can do for your soul. And when you feel lit up, when you feel that feeling of, this is just invigorating me, this is lighting up my soul, I'm loving this, I'm feeling so good. Could be getting out in nature, going out for a bike ride, going out for a swim. All of those things are going to fill you up physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And when you do these things every single day, remember that compound effect. It's going to add value to your day. It is going to help you be more peace. It is going to help you be more calm. It is going to help you feel your nervous system's more regulated. It is going to help you be a nicer mum, a nicer partner, because you're feeling in this better feeling state. It is going to help you learn more about yourself, which might then turn into, let's go into the topic of manifestation. When you're in that good feeling state, when you're in that good feeling energy of nourishing your body, your mind, and your soul, it's like it opens this door to bring into your life more of what you want. If you study any of Abraham Hicks' works, or read Think and Grow Rich, or study any of the law of attraction, the law of vibration, when you're in a higher frequency state, when you're vibrating at a higher level of love, of joy, of peace, or even neutrality, you're putting yourself in a state where you are open to what you want to receive. You're in more of a peaceful state. You're in that good feeling state. And that is the, let's just say, the aligned energy to manifest more of what you want. If you're constantly depleted, you're constantly run down, you're constantly feeling, why me? You're constantly feeling, not this again. You're constantly feeling like no one takes care of me. I'm always burnt out. I'm always sick. I'm in that. You might be in victim mindset, you might not. You might just be feeling so overwhelmed. It lowers your energy, it lowers your vibrational state, that you find more of what you're feeling like a magnet. More of those circumstances, those situations will get presented with you that you have to face, because you're feeling that this is what you're embodying, this is how you're showing up every single day, that you just can't help be a vibrational match for more of that energy to come to you. So when you look after yourself, body, mind, and soul, not only is it good for all those areas in your life, it also helps you align with that vibrational state, a vibrational state of abundance, that vibrational energy of magnetism, of bringing more into your life what you want. So there is so much value in taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And remembering, it does not have to consume you. It does not have to add to your load. It comes down to your decisions, your daily decisions. A decision could be, instead of watching TV, I'm going to journal. Instead of watching TV or scrolling through my phone, I'm actually just going to sit, write down some of my goals. I am going to sit and write down my gratitude. I'm going to just feel into what's right for me in the moment, instead of distracting myself with TV or social media. So it can come from that decision to go to bed and read a book. It can come from the decision, girls, to give yourself permission to rest, to slow down, to pause, instead of feeling like you constantly have to be on the go. It's in that little decision. So body, mind, and soul, remember those three things. Something physical you can do for yourself in that day is, I'm just going to turn off the TV and go to bed half an hour earlier. I'm just going to get the kids to bed a little bit earlier, and I'm going to go to bed a little bit earlier. So it's in your daily decisions when you wake up and you feel tempted to hit snooze because it's raining and you don't want to go and do the workout, to go, no, I've committed to myself. I'm going to move my body. I'm just going to get my ass out of bed and I'm going to go and just get up and go. And so it's in those little insignificant decisions. It feels like an insignificant decision. It's easy to hit snooze, but it's easy to get up. Which one are you going to do? It's easy to watch TV. It's easy to spend time with your family and actually having conversation, which is going to fill your soul up. Which one are you going to do? It's easier to get takeaway. It's easy to be a little bit more organized and put some thought into your online shopping and your food prep. Which one are you going to do? Because it's in the compilation of all those little decisions. What can I do today for my body, mind, and soul? That is going to lead to you feeling physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually nourished. It's going to impact your relationships. It's going to impact your marriage. It's going to impact your confidence. It's going to impact your energy, because the goal, girls, we want to have the best life experience. We want to get the most out of life. You need energy to do that. And all the things that I am sharing with you along the podcast is going to help you get more out of your life. So I want you to start making a really conscious decision. What can I do for my body, mind, and soul today? Some days, like I said, it will be 10 minutes. Some days it will be, you might immerse yourself in a little bit longer. Hell, you might even come on a retreat to Bali with me, because when you give yourself space and you open up you really immerse yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, that's how all my creativity come through for what I'm sharing with you now, for my Earthy Angels brand, for my studio, for building my community. It comes from me making a decision to step away from the noise, step away from the rat race, and go and invest in myself and learn more about myself. Creating that space, it opens you up to receive abundance, receive ideas, receive energy, receive health, receive love, receive vitality. You receive so much when you choose you daily, girls. Remember, 10 minutes, an hour, a week, it does not matter. Every single day, what can I do for my body, mind, and soul today? Even if you write it on a sticky note, stick it on your mirror in your bathroom, put it beside your bed, to have the awareness, because most people go through life with blinkers on, not even aware about this. But not you. You're here because you're aware. You're here because you want to make change and improvement, and you want to grow, and you want to feel incredible in yourself. You want to be the best version of yourself. You want to get the most out of your life and you want to learn, right? And so that is why you're here. So go and put a sticky note somewhere, put a reminder in your phone that when your alarm goes off, what can I do for my body, mind, soul today? Whatever you need to do to remind yourself. And remember, girls, it does not have to take ages. It's the fact that one, you're aware of it, and two, that you actually do it. If you have a day, we all have days where things go wrong or where things don't go to plan. It does not matter. Don't beat yourself up. Just go to bed and think, awareness of how I'm feeling. I've had, like I said, a couple of girls say, I'm aware of when I've let it slide, how it's impacted my mental health or how I felt in myself or how I felt in my energy. Just have awareness. It's a lesson, right? Have awareness in how you felt and go, that's okay. It didn't happen today. That's fine. Next, I'll go into the next day and I will make it a promise to myself to do something for my body, mind, and soul tomorrow. The point is that you keep going, because what most people do is they spiral. When one day they give up on themselves, the next day they give up on themselves and they go, it's all too hard, and they go back to their old ways. I don't want that for you. You have to have the awareness and have to have the internal drive, the internal discipline to take the action when life's hard, when life's busy, when things get thrown your way, to go, that's okay, I'm just going to get back on track. What can I do right now in this moment for maybe my body or my mind or my soul? Or what can I do today for my body, mind, and soul that is going to just make me feel a little bit better? The more you do it, by having it as a conscious habit first, like I said, having the post-it note, having the alarm, having the reminder, join a studio where you are committing to going to, working out on your body. Because when you do that, what happens is you become, it's like you start to dive in this world of, you start to take care of yourself physically. Then what happens is you want to improve your mind, or you fall into improving your mind a bit more, you fall into being aware of your spiritual practices a little bit more, can come from that one decision just to come to Earthy Angels or to go and move your body. It spirals into a positive effect, as opposed to reacting and spiraling into that negative, reacting to what happens in your life. The choice is yours, my friends. The choice is yours as to what you want to do, how you're going to show up. I'm just the messenger. I'm just here to give you the inspiration. But you, like me, over the last 20 something years, have had the discipline to do it, have had taken action when sometimes I didn't feel like it. But what happens? I always feel better after. And that's what will happen for you too. You will always feel better after moving your body. You will always feel better after doing something positive for your mind. You will always feel better after filling yourself up spiritually. Sometimes it might bring up a bit of emotion, and that's okay. These things happen, but on a whole, you are going to feel better when you nourish your body, mind, and soul. The trilogy, girls, the trilogy is where it's at. Hence the Earth Angels, the physical can, like in conjunction, that unison with that spiritual, angelic side of you, bringing them together. The mindset happens along the way as well when you're working on the spiritual. But you are just going to return home to yourself. You're going to feel so much better in yourself. Life is going to unfold so much more. I was going to say more better for you. It's going to unfold in just such a more delicious way for you. You're going to see more beauty in the world. You're going to see more beauty in yourself. You're going to open yourself up to this whole world that you may have been going through with your blinkers on, girls. And I want you to awaken to the beautiful soul that you are, to return home to yourself, to take the most exquisite care of yourself, to love on yourself, to nourish yourself, and see how when you do all of that internally, it ripples out into your external reality, which forms your life, girls. I think I have said enough. I feel like I have just like been like a fire hose with you guys today, but I'm so passionate about you feeling your absolute best and have so much love for you girls. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye.